Hi everybody, Joshua here with the Heavy Piano YouTube channel. Today's video will be a piano tutorial for Palace's Flesh to the Fallen. So as always, I will just give you the chords and melody first and try to give you the structure so you can make it your own at home and kind of learn it play it the way you want to play it. But I'll talk about some of my rhythms and some of my voicings as well. So let's get right into it. First chord is this D major 7, so really pretty chord. I'll do a basic voicing here. We're going to go back and forth between D major 7 and A major 7 twice. And we have this little repeated line, so we're starting on A. So I'm going to start complicating my voicings a little bit, but I'll talk about it later. So D major 7. So going from the D major to the A major. You do that twice, and the next time I think I just kind of like... You'll play the D major 7 again, after doing the D and the A twice. Then our verse comes in on A major 7. Melody on that C sharp. D major 7. So you're noticing the pattern here between A and D. We're going to go back and forth between A and D 4 times. So here's the second time. Melody goes up to F sharp. So we got that out of the way. Now we're going to go to E, and we go back and forth between E major and D major twice. So here's the third time. So now our chorus is going to follow the same 2 chords as the verse, A major 7. And then there's all those harmonies in there, so I was just kind of playing. I'll show you what I'm playing here. Kind of this. So do that twice, A and D, E to D. And then we have a little interlude on the A major 7. Going to the D major 7 again. Then we have our next verse, and again we'll just go 4 times back and forth between the A and the D. My melody is kind of approximate. I would use these kind of a major pentatonic sound. You're going to have the E and D section 4 times. So then we have a chorus again. So that chorus is twice as long. It's A and D 4 times instead of 2 times like the first time. And then coming out of that, we have an E major chord to D. And then it's just really A and D back and forth. It's like another extended chorus on the way out. And And I believe some of the harmonies go up to the F sharp. And there's also this. Kind of that descending da 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 over the chords. So it leaves, there's a lot of space for interpretation and improvisation in this piece, and the chords are absolutely beautiful, right? Let's talk about some of the voicings I'm doing. Oh, before I do that, one of the little licks I heard as well. In addition to that one, there's also these kind of like these in the guitar part. It's going up to the third. So you could throw those in there as well. Take a listen to the recording, but it's going from the second to the third, major third kind of sound is used a lot as well on the guitar part. So some of those voicings, at the beginning, I'm really taking my time. I'm using some space there. We have so the basic voicing, D major, the C sharp in there makes it a major 7, right? There's a lot of things that clash when they're out of context, right? So we have those notes clash, and maybe these notes clash and those notes clash. But if you put something as a foundation underneath those, you start getting kind of these pretty washy sounds. I don't know if that's the technical term for it, but what I do for a piece like this, when the mood I want to evoke is like one of like tranquility and peacefulness, I try to find these like creamy, like almost smeared chords, right? So here's our basic voicing. So I'll just take some notes and I'll start modifying some of the notes, right? So take my root, change it to a ninth instead, and then move it around. So I have this voicing. What if I add a note in the middle there, that sixth? So then I have that sound. And I can also take that shape where I have like 2 outer notes and 2 inside notes that are close together, right? Those are also kind of clashy. But in context, have that nice kind of creamy sound, filling sound. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to experiment and find some of these sounds. There's another one. That's like a D, major 7, 6, sharp, is that like a sharp 11, I guess? And, just moving some of these around, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. One of the shapes I really like is this shape. Let's see here. You can do like an open sounding fifth, D, A, D, kind of almost like a power chord. And then you put your open sounding third, major 7, third in top. And then move that around. And how does that sound? Add in that sixth. Add the ninth. Right? Add that sharp 11 or sharp 4. More suspense. It has a more suspended sound. It wants to travel somewhere, right? So my point is, all I'm doing is experimenting with some of these voicings, and I'm trying to use like a chord center, right? And one of the ways to designate a chord center is just like have that octave down there hanging out, right, with the pedal. I almost did a G natural, and I don't think that would have worked. Let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, that's way too clashy. A little bit too spicy, right? for the feeling I want to evoke. But so what I did is I just kind of experimented with some shapes, and then I tried to get enough of those shapes under my belt to where I didn't have to think about it, and it was more like, okay, I want to get this in motion, I want to set this in place. I can kind of like go back and forth between these chords. That one was higher, so this time let's play the same kind of thing again. I can go higher. How does that feel, Come back down. I almost played that G natural again. So yeah, it's an experimentation. You have these beautiful major 7 chords. And I know it's easier said than done, just like, just pick notes and play them. But really, just take your chord, move some notes around. The more you change the notes, the less it's defined as the major chord. So do try to think of it as retaining its identity. Obviously, if I change the root, it changes the chord, right? So remember, the root does tend to define what the chord center is, more or less. Okay, so sorry that's a long-winded explanation for what I'm doing, but yeah, so I'll reiterate, I've just practiced these chords or the shapes, and then to the point where I don't have to think about it, I'm just like, okay, I want to make this calm in the beginning. I'm going to hit some chords here, and I'm just going to take my time, right? And I'm just going to kind of do this until I've set myself in the emotion I want to do for this. And then when I want to start the song, I'll do that little lick. And then I'll kind of start my song, and then when I want to designate that the verse has started, I'm really bringing out, I'm using my pinky there for those melodies, and then adding some rhythm in the inner moving notes. There's almost like this tango feeling. It's a really gentle feeling. So I did kind of like that gentle tango feel, but I didn't emphasize it the same way each time. Also trying to make your melody sing the same way that the lyrics are sung in the song. Kind of maybe pull back for that section so it's different, and so it's like it has a little bit of a lull before it builds into the chorus. Anyway, you get the idea, right? I think that's what I want to talk about with that piece. So see, I'm starting to reuse some of my voicings without thinking about it. But I really enjoyed, that maybe it's a little bit too much there, let's see here. I really enjoyed learning this piece. So one of my patrons requested this piece, and I always like to create the acoustic arrangement and synthesia version for those of you who like to see the notes all laid out, and then a tutorial as well, just where I can kind of talk about it and break it down. So I hope this was helpful. Like I always say, I'll give you the chords and melody, and I'll give you some of my philosophy behind what I'm doing, and I hope you can take it home and make it your own. That's my goal with all this. So I hope it's been helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Check out the original version if you liked anything I'm doing here. My goal is to, educate. My goal is to educate and entertain and calm and excite and just share music with people. And I think the best way to do that is to help you make music your own as well. So thanks for watching. Thanks for following the channel, everybody. And a big thank you to my patrons on Patreon for supporting. And I will catch you next time. Take care.